huge technological breakthrough to announce about point of sale terminals. I have figured out how to use WordPress as a point of sale that is almost as good, as convenient as Apple Pay. Almost. Depending on your browser settings and your credit card autofill. It could be upgraded. It's not necessarily the most secure system if everybody does it. You don't necessarily know, but whatever. The technological advancement is QR codes. QR codes. You get a plugin for your website that generates a QR code on an iPad. That QR code is a link to an invoice. I click on the link. I pay now. It would be great if Google or Apple could just allow me to pay through their system without a 30% charge. If they just integrated that into their browser, that would be cool. But whatever. You scan a QR code. Well, no, it's more, yeah, it's a payment gateway. I use Stripe on WordPress. I can take money on WordPress. I didn't figure out the QR code plugin yet. I'll look later when I give a shit. But no, you go to a shop, there is a tablet, it displays a QR code. You scan it with your camera. You pay now. Maybe you have to autofill your credit card details based on the payment gateway of the merchant. Again, it would be nice if you could clean that up a bit. But you walk in to a shop, you pick out your shit, you go to the cashier, there is a QR code, you scan it with your camera, and you pay for it with your credit card. And it would be nice if there was a payment gateway solution that allowed me to pay for my shit without giving every merchant my credit card details. But again, you can do payment through the web. It would be nice if my browser had my credit card details, if my browser had a wallet app. There was a standard API for getting money from my bank after I tell them you're cool. Through the web. You know? Without me necessarily giving you... But anyway, you can set up a point of sale with WordPress. You set up a Stripe account. It took me 5 minutes. I wasn't terribly annoyed by the process. It wasn't that bad. 5-10 minutes. Set up a Stripe account. Again, that assumes that you're banked, whatever. But there has to be a Stripe competitor in every country. At least someone competing. Maybe it's fucking PayPal, I don't know. Whatever. But you you set up a website and you find invoicing system, an invoicing plugin that generates and displays QR codes. You generate the fucking QR code on your tablet. You show me the tablet, I scan it. There's a fucking payment plugin built into my browser. For, enhanced security, but still, in any case, you can generate an invoice. I don't know if the QR code plugin currently exists. I can't imagine it doesn't. I see QR codes everywhere. I'm inventing this new web-based payment workflow right now. Instead of having a fucking shitty fucking card reader, putting my fucking card in some nigger fucking vendor's fucking, I was recently charged for things I didn't buy by merchants I didn't do business with. Anyway, you know, just build a fucking wallet app into a browser and make it an open source fucking wallet app that communicates with my bank, and then my bank communicates with the merchant. The merchant gets a green light. I walk away with my shit. But in any case, I have recently purchased, there was a guy who was selling weed, and he said he had a website, so I asked him, I said, I'll pay on your website. Wanted me to pay cash, blah, blah, blah. I said, I'll pay on your website. He generated me an invoice and I paid it. Again, I've done business with multiple weed vendors. I'm not sure exactly which one. Anyway, but yeah, you can do payments on the web, and it's 10 times cheaper than Apple. At least 10 times cheaper. PayPal is 10 times cheaper than Apple, almost. Maybe 9 times cheaper if you add up all their nigger bullshit fees. It's 3.5%. Maybe if you have high volume, you can get 3.3. I haven't looked at it for years and years. And there's a per transaction fee of 30 cents or 50 cents. And if you do business across a border, there's a cross-border transaction fee. Like, no matter what, it's 5 times cheaper than Apple. App Store payment gateway solutions. So there's Stripe, there's PayPal, there's I don't know, there's various banks that allow you to set up a merchant gateway directly through them, and maybe they charge less. You look around. But WordPress and Stripe, I can take money. If I go later and look for a fucking QR code invoice plugin, I can turn any $100 tablet into a point of sale that takes any fucking credit card. You know, Bombshell. There's a new payment gateway technology. It's called the QR code. I think it was invented in the 1970s by some Japanese company. I looked it up once on Wikipedia. Maybe the 80s, maybe the 90s, I'm not sure. Some Japanese company invented the QR code. And a web browser, guess what? It can display, somehow magically, the web browser is compatible with the QR code. And also, side note, I looked it up. Browsers and WebAssembly. WebAssembly apparently is set up for a 32-bit architecture, which means you have a 4 gigabyte limit per tab. I'm thinking like, oh, wouldn't it be nice if browsers, if WebAssembly could support 64-bit architecture and practically infinite fucking memory? But you know, I wonder, like, what can you do with 4 gigs of RAM? What is the most amazing fucking, what is it, can you fit an AGI, something really fucking useful, into 4 gigs of RAM? You know, they talk about models that were like billions of parameters. I don't know, like the neural net itself is a series of weights that have been adjusted between neurons, apparently. Just you adjust the weights and the Palinko chip goes in the right place. How much can you optimize a neural net that fits in 4 gigs? And also, can we pipe the browser into a GPU? Can we do parallel 32-bit instructions? Anyway, yeah, a lot of optimizations, but I wonder, like, what could be done with a 4 gig neural net? You know, there's something that looks like ChatGPT that runs in a single browser tab. It uses 4 gigs of memory. It's multimodal. Can we make a multimodal model run on 4 gigs of RAM? Like, without upgrading it to 64 bit architecture, can we? What is the most amazing shit we can do with 4 gigs of RAM and 32-bit architecture? Can we build 32-bit pipelines for GPUs? Like, fuck, man. you know, the most amazing set of weights that can run in a single browser tab. With the current fucking net standard. WebAssembly on all the browsers that support WebAssembly is 32-bit, okay. Means you get 4 gigs of RAM per tab. What can we do with 4 gigs of RAM per tab? You know, again, it might be interesting to see what we can do with browser tabs that have infinite fucking memory, but listen, like, think about it like this, like a computer with 4 gigs of RAM that runs in the cloud would have cost you $100 a month 20 years ago. It would have cost 50 10 years ago. I don't know, like I just I feel like it's still a pretty powerful computer that can get a lot done. For a computer that has access to 4 gigs of RAM is not useless. A virtual machine. A virtual machine with 4 gigs should be able to do some pretty cool shit. That's what a browser tab is. It's a VM with a maximum memory of 4 gigabytes. And if you have infinite RAM, you could run 50 instances in parallel, having them train. You could have 100 or 1,000 4 gig instances optimizing, sending the optimal weights to the production engine, the production tab, or the prototype tab. This is not production. We're sending the new weights to the testing tab, and we we will rubber stamp a new stable release ASAP. You know, once you're happy with the new version, once you feel like it's good enough, you pipe that to the production tab. Anyway, I think there's a lot you can do with QR codes in terms of payment solutions and workflows that are approximately as convenient as Apple and Google Pay, except they work in every country. I'm not able to use Google Pay in Thailand. I tried once, it didn't work. I haven't tried a million times in every shop, but you know, this is something that's almost as convenient as Google Play, Google Pay if you're in a country where it works. It's almost as convenient as that. But it works in every country for tourists from all over the fucking planet. Oh, Google Pay doesn't work in this. Your Google Pay doesn't work in this country. Maybe my Google Pay does, but yours doesn't. Here's a fucking QR code on a tablet. you're in the back end of the CMS. It would be brilliant if we could do it better than this, but you just display a QR code that's a link to an invoice, and my browser pays for it. Plan B, I enter my fucking credit card details into your website and then you have them. Still, it works if I can walk away with my shit and you don't scam me later. But anyway, so QR codes, and what's the most amazing shit we can do with 4 gigs of RAM?